Welcome back. Today I have 3 scary stories in exploring abandoned mall. Hope you guys enjoy. Rain pounded relentlessly against the windshield as our car navigated through the deserted streets. I sat in the back seat with my friends, John, Sarah, and Mike, eager for the adventure that lay ahead. We were on a mission to explore an abandoned mall and document our experiences for a new YouTube channel we wanted to create, Paranormal Pursuits. The abandoned mall was located in an isolated area, which meant we had to drive 3 long hours to reach our destination. The rain only added to the eerie atmosphere surrounding our expedition. Excitement mixed with apprehension as we pulled up to the desolate structure, its once vibrant exterior now faded and covered in graffiti. Alright, guys, remember, we're here to capture everything on camera. No matter how creepy it gets, let's stick together, John said, the enthusiasm in his voice hiding the nerves we all felt. We grabbed our gear, consisting of flashlights, cameras, and a sound recorder, and stepped out into the rain. The air was thick with an unpleasant smell, hitting us like a wall as we approached the mall's entrance. The door creaked open, revealing a dark, dimly lit interior. Rats scurried across the floor, and the occasional flickering light added to the spooky ambience. The once vibrant shops now stood as empty shells, long forgotten by the world outside. "We're really doing this, huh?" Sarah whispered, her voice barely audible over the sound of rain on the roof. We ventured deeper into the mall, our flashlights cutting through the darkness like beacons. The air felt heavy, and an unnerving feeling settled in the pit of my stomach. Each step echoed through the empty halls, magnifying the eerie silence that enveloped us. As we explored, we started to notice strange occurrences. Shadows darted across the walls, disappearing as quickly as they appeared. The sound of crying and laughter echoed through the corridors, despite us being the only ones there. "Do you guys hear that?" I asked, my voice trembling with uncertainty. John nodded, his face pale. "Yeah, it's like someone's laughing and crying at the same time." The laughter and crying seemed to follow us as we moved through the mall. We tried to convince ourselves that it was just our imaginations playing tricks on us, but the unease in our hearts persisted. The flickering lights continued to create a dance of shadows, making it challenging to distinguish between reality and illusion. I could feel the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end, and I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. Sarah's camera suddenly malfunctioned, and she let out a gasp of surprise. "What just happened?" My camera was fully charged. Mike's sound recorder started picking up strange, garbled voices, as if something or someone was trying to communicate with us from the other side. "Okay, I'm getting seriously freaked out now," Mike admitted, his voice quivering with fear. We decided to regroup near the mall's atrium, hoping to find some solace in the open space. But as we stood there, an eerie silence descended, and the rain outside seemed to grow fainter. "Guys, do you hear that?" I asked, barely able to contain the fear in my voice. A faint melody drifted through the air, like an ethereal song, pulling us towards the mall's center. Without exchanging a word, we followed the haunting tune, its origins unknown, its purpose unclear. The melody led us to a long-forgotten children's play area. Broken toys were scattered across the floor, and the walls were adorned with faded paintings of whimsical characters. But the eerie beauty of the place was overshadowed by an overwhelming sense of sorrow that permeated the air. As we stood there, the melody grew louder, filling our ears with its mournful refrain. I could see tears welling up in Sarah's eyes, and Mike looked visibly shaken. John, always the fearless one, seemed strangely contemplative, as if he could feel the weight of the emotions in the air. Just as suddenly as the music began, it stopped, leaving us in an unsettling silence. The rain outside resumed its heavy downpour, reminding us of the reality beyond the mall's decaying walls. "We need to get out of here," Mike whispered, his voice barely audible. But before we could make a move, the atmosphere shifted once more. The lights flickered erratically, and the temperature dropped drastically, as if winter had suddenly crept into the heart of summer. John's flashlight fell from his hand, the beam bouncing across the walls, revealing a series of strange symbols etched into the floor. I couldn't decipher their meaning, but they looked ancient, as if they held secrets from another time. The ground beneath our feet rumbled, and the symbols began to glow with an otherworldly light. Fear gripped us, and we clung to each other, unsure of what was happening. Suddenly, the symbols seemed to come alive, swirling and twisting, creating a vortex of energy that engulfed us. The world around us blurred, and I felt as if I was being torn apart, my mind and body pulled in different directions. As quickly as it began, the vortex dissipated, leaving us disoriented and gasping for breath. The mall had returned to its desolate state, but something had changed. The laughter and crying had ceased, and the shadows had retreated into the corners. We stumbled out of the mall, our hearts pounding, and climbed back into our car. The rain had subsided, but the night was darker than ever. As we drove away, none of us spoke a word. We knew that what we had experienced that night went beyond the realm of the ordinary. The abandoned mall had become a doorway to a world of forgotten emotions, of memories long lost, and of spirits trapped between dimensions. Our YouTube channel idea had taken an unexpected turn, and we had witnessed something beyond our wildest imagination. As we returned home, we knew that we had embarked on a journey that would change us forever, a journey into the unknown, into the realm of the unexplained, and into the haunting memories of the abandoned mall. Halloween was always a night of mischief and thrills, but this year, we wanted to take things to a whole new level. My friends and I, fueled by a mix of excitement and liquid courage, decided to celebrate the spookiest night of the year by exploring an abandoned mall rumored to be haunted. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the Halloween revelry began. We gathered at Mike's house, each of us bringing a stash of alcohol and some extra treats to set the mood. Jack-o'-lanterns grinned from the porch, and eerie decorations adorned the walls. Among us was Mark, who had a reputation for pushing boundaries. Tonight, he came prepared with a bag of potent weed that promised to amplify our Halloween adventure. "Guys, this stuff is no joke," Mark said with a sly grin. "We're in for one hell of a ride tonight." The others laughed nervously, but we were all in. The combination of alcohol, the thrill of exploring an abandoned mall, and the promise of an otherworldly high was irresistible. As midnight approached, we set out towards the abandoned mall. The cold night air gave a foreboding chill, but our excitement and buzz dulled the fear that tried to creep in. The mall loomed ahead, its darkened windows and crumbling facade painted a grim picture. In its heyday, it was a bustling shopping hub, but now it stood as a forgotten relic of the past, a canvas for graffiti and the rumors of its haunted history. We entered the mall with flashlights in hand, the glow casting eerie shadows on the decaying walls. The smell of dampness and neglect hung heavily in the air, but the alcohol and we dulled our senses, and we felt invincible. Cheers to a night of spooks and scares. Mike raised his beer can, and we all joined in a toast. The liquid courage flowed through our veins as we ventured deeper into the mall. Our laughter echoed through the empty halls, but a lingering sense of unease remained. The abandoned mall seemed to feed off our excitement, its silence only heightening the anticipation. Mark sparked up the joint, and we passed it around, taking deep drags that filled our lungs with smoke. The weed intensified the eerie ambience, causing the shadows to dance and the creaking of the old building to become sinister whispers. "Hey, let's split up and explore different areas," Mark suggested, the high making him bold and reckless. Despite our reservations, we agreed, believing that nothing could truly harm us on Halloween night. So we scattered, each group heading in different directions, our flashlights piercing through the darkness. I found myself with Mark, and we made our way towards the abandoned movie theater. As we entered, an unsettling silence engulfed us. The seats stood empty, the faded screen a reminder of a bygone era. "Man, this place is creepy as hell," I said, my words slurred from the alcohol. Mark chuckled, but his laughter sounded strained, his eyes wide with a mixture of excitement and fear. "You're right, but that's what makes it awesome." As we explored the theater, the weed seemed to heighten our senses. Sounds were amplified, and shadows elongated, taking on eerie forms. I tried to shake off the feeling of being watched, but the sensation was overwhelming. Suddenly, a soft whisper seemed to echo through the room. It was faint and indistinct, but it sent a shiver down my spine. "Did you hear that?" I asked, my heart pounding. Mark laughed nervously, trying to play it cool. "Probably just the wind, man. This place is falling apart." But the whispers persisted, growing louder with each passing second. The weed seemed to blur the lines between reality and illusion, and I couldn't tell if the sounds were real or a product of my high. "Let's get out of here," I urged, feeling a sense of urgency. As we turned to leave, the theater's door slammed shut with a resounding boom, trapping us inside. Panic surged through me, and I could feel Mark's fear mirroring my own. "Okay, this isn't funny," Mark said, his voice quivering. Just then, the projector in the theater came to life, flickering and casting strange shapes on the screen. The images seemed to shift and morph, forming eerie figures that danced and swayed. I could no longer deny the reality of the situation. Something was not right, and the combination of the weed and alcohol had plunged us into a waking nightmare. In a desperate attempt to escape, we pounded on the doors, screaming for help. But the theater remained locked, its haunting images playing out before us. As we huddled together, the whispers grew louder, taunting us with incomprehensible words. The shadows seemed to take on a life of their own, coiling and writhing like malevolent creatures. In the midst of the chaos, the weed-induced haze began to clear, and I felt a wave of sobriety wash over me. It was as if the spirits of the abandoned mall were trying to sober us up, to make us aware of the danger we had willingly walked into. The whispers turned into cries for help, and the shadows retreated into the corners of the room. The projector sputtered and died, leaving us in complete darkness. With trembling hands, I took out my phone and turned on the flashlight, illuminating the theater once more. The doors that had been locked were now open, and we rushed out, not looking back. We found our friends, terrified and shaken, at the mall's entrance. They had experienced their own chilling encounters, each more haunting than the last. As we made our way home, the adrenaline and fear washed over us, sobering us completely. The weed's intoxicating effects were replaced with the stark reality of what we had just experienced. We had dared to play with the supernatural, and the abandoned mall had taught us a terrifying lesson. There are forces beyond our comprehension, energies that exist beyond the realm of the living, and toying with them comes at a dangerous cost. On that Halloween night, we had unlocked a realm of darkness and despair, and it was a haunting we would carry with us forever. The spirits of the abandoned mall had given us a chilling reminder that some doors are best left closed, and that the thrill of the unknown can lead to a horrifying fate. Hollowbrook Mall had been a thriving hub of activity in its heyday. Families strolled through its bustling corridors, shops brimming with life, and laughter echoing through the halls. But that was a long time ago. Now, it stood abandoned, a forgotten relic of the past, its once vibrant spirit lost to the shadows. My friends and I, a group of thrill-seekers eager to explore the unknown, had heard tales of the mall's haunted history. The rumors spoke of strange apparitions, chilling whispers, and unexplained phenomena that lurked within its decaying walls. With cameras and flashlights in hand, we ventured into the darkness, unaware of the horrors that awaited us. The night was cold and overcast, setting the perfect backdrop for our eerie expedition. As we approached the entrance, the grand facade loomed above us, its shattered windows and peeling paint adding to the foreboding atmosphere. My heart pounded in anticipation as we stepped inside, the darkness swallowing us whole. From the very beginning, we felt an overwhelming sense of unease. The air was heavy, carrying with it the scent of dampness and decay. It was as if the mall itself exhaled a sigh of misery, mourning its lost glory. As we ventured deeper into the abandoned mall, we began to notice strange occurrences. Shadows flickered in our peripheral vision, disappearing when we turned to face them. Footsteps echoed through the empty halls, despite us being the only ones present. The temperature seemed to fluctuate, causing shivers to run down our spines. "This place gives me the creeps," whispered Claire, one of my friends, her voice quivering with trepidation. We tried to reassure each other, attributing the eerie phenomena to our imaginations running wild. But with every step we took, the presence of something beyond the natural realm became palpable. In our quest for answers, we decided to explore the mall's abandoned movie theater, where the rumors of paranormal activity were particularly rampant. As we entered the dimly lit space, an icy breeze swept through the room, raising the hair on the back of our necks. Suddenly, the air seemed to thicken, as if we were walking through a pool of molasses. Our movements became sluggish, and a sense of dread gripped our hearts. We were no longer alone. A hushed whisper emanated from the shadows, carrying an otherworldly message that sent shivers down our spines. It was a plea, a lament of lost souls trapped within the crumbling walls of the theater. "Help us," the whisper pleaded, "free us from this eternal torment." The ghostly appeal echoed in our minds, and we exchanged nervous glances. The presence seemed desperate, and we could feel its sorrowful energy swirling around us. "We can't leave them like this," Jason, the bravest among us, said resolutely. "We have to find a way to set them free." Determined to uncover the truth behind the haunting, we searched for clues in the theater. Amongst the dust and debris, we stumbled upon an old projector, its film reel still intact. As we inspected it, we realized that it contained footage of a tragic event that had occurred in the theater decades ago. The film showed a devastating fire that had consumed the theater, trapping innocent souls inside its inferno. The echoes of their last cries for help resonated through the film, and we knew that we had stumbled upon the very source of the haunting. "We have to show this to the world," Sarah said, her voice trembling with emotion. "We have to let people know what happened here." With that, we decided to record our findings and share them with the world, hoping to shed light on the mall's haunted history and, in turn, provide closure to the tormented spirits. As we prepared to leave the theater, a bone-chilling gust of wind howled through the room. The projector flickered to life, projecting the ghostly images of the trapped souls onto the theater screen. "We're sorry," a collective voice echoed through the room. "We didn't mean to frighten you." The spirits appeared before us, ethereal and translucent, their faces etched with pain and sorrow. They pleaded with us one last time, asking for our forgiveness and urging us to help them find peace. "We forgive you," Jason said, his voice gentle and compassionate. "You have suffered for far too long. It's time to let go." With those words, the spirits began to fade, their presence slowly dissipating. A soft glow filled the room, and a sense of serenity replaced the previous unease. As the last trace of the spirits vanished, we knew that we had fulfilled our mission. We had not only uncovered the mall's haunted past but also provided closure to the tormented souls that had been trapped within its walls. As we stepped out of the abandoned mall, the rain had stopped, and a sense of tranquility washed over us. Hollowbrook Mall was still a shadow of its former self, but we had made peace with its haunting history. Our experience taught us that there is much more to the world than what meets the eye. Beneath the surface of decay and abandonment, lies a realm of spirits and lost souls, seeking solace and redemption. We had embarked on an adventure to explore the unknown, but what we found was much more than we ever expected. Hollowbrook Mall may have been abandoned by the living, but it had become a sanctuary for the souls of the departed. And for one night, we had become their guides, their saviors, and their bridge to a peaceful afterlife. Thank you so much for joining me on this thrilling journey through the world of horror and suspense. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to stay updated on all my spooky content. If you're craving more hair-raising tales and heart-pounding adventures, check out the suggested videos on your screen right now.